Tonight's submission comes from North Fort Worth, Texas. A resident sent us a testimony and a series of corrupted CCTV clips connected to a man who stayed in their apartment for one night, then disappeared without ever being captured leaving the building. What you're about to hear is their full account. Email testimony: North Fort Worth, Texas. Internal and exterior CCTV. Timestamp range: 2:13 a.m. to 6:41 a.m. I'm not including my name. It doesn't matter, and I don't want this traced back to me at work or to the apartment complex. I'm sending this because the man who stayed in my unit 3 weeks ago was never identified, never seen again, and the footage from that night still corrupts itself every time I try to replay it, almost like the system is correcting something it never recorded. I live in a small one-bedroom unit north of Fort Worth. Ground floor, facing the back lot. Nothing special. I've been here 4 years. The kind of place where the weirdest thing you expect is loud neighbors or a raccoon knocking over the recycling bin. But this started at 2:13 a.m. when my security app pushed a motion alert from the exterior camera. The clip opened with the man already standing at the edge of the frame, shoulders lowered, breathing slow, but heavier than normal. He was angled toward my door, like he was waiting for someone to acknowledge him. He didn't ring the bell, didn't knock, he didn't move at all. I replayed the clip twice. He didn't walk up from either side of the hallway, no shadow trailing behind him. Just an empty frame, then the next frame with him in it. I opened the door halfway. Not sure why I did that. He repeated one sentence: "I just need somewhere to stay until morning." No fear, no urgency. More like he was giving me instructions. The man looked worn down, but not dirty, not drunk, not homeless. Just exhausted in a way that didn't match his face. I let him in. He stepped inside, closed the door softly behind him, and sat down on the floor facing the window. He wasn't looking at me. He was watching the space between the back door and the kitchen, like he expected something to come from that direction. I checked him through the internal camera every few minutes. Same position, still. Occasionally he'd tilt his head toward the kitchen, like he was tracking a faint sound I couldn't hear. 2:41 a.m. The exterior cam sent another motion alert. The clip was empty, just a faint flicker of light near the same spot where he had stood earlier. A small, trembling point of light, half a second, then gone. I didn't mention it to him. 3:05, I asked if he needed anything, water, a blanket, anything. He shook his head. Then he said, "If you hear anything from behind the kitchen, don't move." He still didn't look at me. His eyes stayed on the dark space near the back door, like he was following a script he'd memorized years ago. I didn't know what he meant. 3:27. The internal camera picked up a soft clicking from the laundry closet, crystal clear in the recording, but I didn't hear it in real time. Only the camera did. On the fifth replay, the clicking shifts 1 second earlier, like the system is retiming itself to hide a lag. The man didn't move, but his breathing steadied, like he was preparing for something. I asked if someone was after him. He said, "No." Then after a pause, "Places hold on to things." He didn't speak again for almost half an hour. 4:02 a.m. The exterior camera began generating 2-second clips, no motion in any of them. But every clip showed the hallway's shadow stretched a little too far. In some clips, it reached halfway to my door. In others, it snapped back. No transition, just different every time. In one clip, a thin gray streak crossed the left side of the frame. Not a person, not an arm, just a smudge, shaped like something extended from outside the camera's field of view. I didn't show him that either. Inside, he stayed seated on the floor, watching the kitchen entrance. He never asked to lie down, never asked for a blanket. Hours later, he finally said, "When the sun comes up, I'll leave on my own." 4:33. Something I experienced in real time. The back door shifted inward, not fully open, just unlatched. But I always check it before bed. I know I locked it. The man lifted his head, didn't stand, didn't approach. He whispered, "Do not get up." I checked the rear camera, mostly dark, but a blurry mass hovered near the threshold. Not a person, not a shadow. Digital noise, but shaped, holding still for several frames. The timestamps stutter during those seconds. 4 identical seconds, recorded twice. 5:10. The kitchen lights blinked off for exactly 2 seconds. When they came back, the man placed one hand on the floor to steady himself. Eyes still locked on the back door. When I asked if he was all right, he didn't answer. 5:24. The temperature dropped, fast, no draft, no sound. Warm outside, but inside it felt like something cold had settled into the air. He finally spoke. "It's not a thing, it's motion." A pause. "It follows the places I've been." He didn't explain. 5:49. The internal camera captured one corrupted frame, just one. In that frame, the man is sitting exactly as before, but his head is missing, replaced by a block of compression noise. Everything else normal. Next frame, he's fine. No other glitches anywhere in the recordings. For reasons I still can't explain, I never called the police. He hadn't harmed me. He hadn't threatened me. He just watched that doorway, like something behind it mattered more than anything I could do. 6:02 dawn. The first blue light came through the blinds. The man stood up. Slow, steady. He looked at the front door, then at me. "I'm leaving now. Don't open the door for 1 minute after I go." His voice was clear, calm. He opened the door, stepped into the hallway, closed it gently. I waited 1 minute, opened the door. The hallway was empty, but the exterior camera never recorded him leaving. Not a single frame. The last clip showing him is still the one from 2:13 a.m. standing in the same spot, but the camera refuses to focus on his face. Every attempt to enhance it blurs only that area. 2 days later, management told me the footage from 2:13 to 6:41 a.m. was archived, but several frames were non-decodable. They said it only happens with severe low light or a shaking device. But the camera is bolted to the wall, and the hallway lights were on. Since that night, the front door latch hesitates for 2 seconds before locking, as if the weight inside the mechanism shifted. The technician said everything was normal. I'm sending this because I don't know what happened, and I don't know why it hasn't happened again. But every night at 2:13 a.m., the exterior camera's status light glows for 1 second, then shuts off, and the footage is always empty, just the same vacant space where he stood the very first time.